Oscar, can you take off your shoe? Quick, take off your shoe before he shuts us down. And give me your sock. Quick, give me your sock before he shuts us down. Here, give me that sock. There is no volume, it's a horn. Give him a hand, he did a great job. You can have your sock back. And from now on, your name is Hopalong. And when Edison brought that home, that was his first problem. How do you lower the volume of a horn? What do you think? Well, you put a sock in it. We have professional librarians look it up. And that's where the term put a sock in it actually comes from. The Edison horn. And these were the records. The records were actually cylinders. The original ones were made out of wax, beeswax. And then the later ones were made out of celluloid. That's a celluloid one, which is just a fancy word for plastic. Do you guys want to actually touch one of these? Here, come on up. I'm going to give it to you in your hands, and you could let him touch it also. Pass it around. When you're done, bring it back up to me. Those are the original records, and believe it or not, this machine can record. As I was talking to the sound man about, who knew that. Yeah, these machines, the first record players could record, and all record players could record. You actually sing into the horn. So you sing into the horn, and it records like a sewing machine. It actually goes up and down. So this is an original wax cylinder. You would sing into the horn. Thank you. So I'd say something like hello. And when you play it back, hello. It's just moving air the same way my mouth, my tongue moves air. When I talk to you, my mouth, my tongue, I make noises. And it makes sound waves that hit your eardrum. What happens when you hit a drum? It makes a noise, right? So instead of just hitting your eardrum and making a noise, you could hit tin, you could hit Plato, not Plato, he was a big Greek guy, you don't want to hit him. Or you could hit wax, beeswax. So they would hit the wax and then play it back, and it's just moving air the same way my mouth, my tongue moves air. Now the next item I've got a question for you. Who's seen a 3D movie, 3D photography, anything 3D? Excellent. How long do you think we've had 3D? What do you think, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? We've had it much longer than that. Who's heard of Abraham Lincoln? Yeah? Well, we have 3D pictures of Abraham Lincoln. I actually have them myself. 3D pictures of Abe Lincoln. Later I'll have a table there. I'll let you touch those. So we've had 3D since Abe Lincoln. In fact, even longer than that. Photography began around 1839. As soon as we started making cameras, we started making cameras like this. 3D, 3 lenses. So raise your hand if you have 3 eyes. What's the third lens doing? What do you think that does? Takes your soul. No, it doesn't take your soul. We'll discuss that later. This one is for focusing, because you never want to focus on your right eye because it sees it to the right, or your left eye because it sees it to the left. You want to focus on the center because clearly this man is the most important person in the room, aren't you? No? Sure you are. You want to focus on the center. This is the viewfinder. These two take the picture just like your 2 eyes. When you guys are looking at me, do you see one of me or 2? Raise your hand if you see one of me.
You have to go back here. What?
Okay, put your hands down. Raise your hand if you see 2 of me. I don't know, there's a problem here. Put your hands down. Try again. Raise your hand if you see 1 of me.
I raised
Put your hands down. Raise your hand if you see 2 of me. Listen, you got a problem with your audience here. I think they're busted. You need a refund. All of you should be seeing 2 of me as we speak. You are seeing 2. Try this. Put your thumb in front of your face like that. Go ahead, everyone try it, even parents. Close one eye, close the other eye, switch back and forth. They're all winking at me. You're seeing your thumb is moving, but you're not moving it. That's because your right eye sees your thumb a little to the right, your left eye sees your thumb a little to the left, and your brain puts it together. That's how 3D works. That camera, believe it or not, photographers, this takes slide film, a double-mounted slide film, not like the 35s, but it's a rectangle with 2 pictures on it. The earlier ones would use these. These are 1800 stereoscopes. You put them in your eyes like that, you move it like that to focus it, you'll see a 3D image of the Flatiron Building. Do you get my bad Coney Island joke? 3D image, Flatiron Building. Yeah, I'll be here all week. Tip your waitress, try the meatloaf. So I'm going to pass this around also. You guys want to try it? Excellent. So let's pass it around, and you guys, and then my dear friend Amanda will help bring them back afterwards. And I've got one for the other side over here. So I'll pass it to you, and then you pass it around. So you put it in your eyes, you focus it, and then you pass it to the next person, and then bring it up when you're done. So there it is over there, and then pass it around. Any idea what that is? This, believe it or not, is a magic lantern. The magic lanterns go back hundreds of years, and they're basically projectors. Well, wait a second, hundreds of years ago, they didn't have light bulbs. So what's it using for light if it's in the night when they use this? What do you think? What's it using for light? Candles, right, oil lamp or a candle. This one was a children's toy from about 100 years ago. There's the oil lamp right in it. Because clearly 100 years ago, kids should be playing with oil lamps. Yeah, that's before the government stepped in and realized not such a good idea. And then they would use glass slides. So you would put in a glass slide, you'd paint a picture. So you'd paint a picture of, let's say, a monster, or a dragon, or your grandma. And then you guys would come into this room, and I would light my match, and I'd put in my glass slide, and I'd project onto the wall, and you'd go, oh my God, it's a monster, it's a dragon, it's my grandma. And all of you go running and screaming out of here, going, the World Science Festival showed us monsters and dragons and grandma, or great-grandma. And that's why they called these things magical. Because imagine 100 years ago, or worse yet, imagine you were here, and it was 400 years ago, and there was an image on the wall here of your great-grandma. You guys would go, oh my God, that's a ghost. That's a spirit. They really thought these things were spirits and ghosts. So they called these things magic lanterns, but they were actually used as a storytelling device. So a storyteller or a charlatan, like me, pick one, who would show up at your town and tell the story of Mother Goose or Aesop's Fables or Jack and the Beanstalk. But it was also used as the first, and watch all the adults laugh, these were used as the first PowerPoint presentation. And they really were used as the first PowerPoint. Replace the word PowerPoint with magic lantern. Thomas Edison himself had whole catalogs of magic lantern presentations that you could buy from his catalog. Came with two things, a package of glass slides, your PowerPoint slides, and then it came with a booklet you read from, your presentation. So it really was PowerPoint before PowerPoint. I've got catalogs. It's got thousands of them. PowerPoint did not invent this, but it was also used to bring back the dead. Your great-grandma. Oh my God! Yeah, it was. They used these in seances. And they would have great-grandma on the wall. There's a guy you know who believed in this. There's a guy you know who believed in this spirit photography to such an extent he wrote a whole book, The Case for Spirit Photography. Who's heard of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle? He is the writer of Sherlock Holmes, and he actually believed that these things were spirits. Yeah, believe it or not, he wrote a whole book, The Case for Spirit Photography. There's a guy you know who didn't believe in it. Have you heard of Harry Houdini? Harry Houdini, a magician, knows magic, knows trickery, so he knew these things were tricks. It wasn't your grandma on the wall, and he would go to seances and debunk them. Harry Houdini was friends with Conan Doyle, and they actually argued about this, believe it or not. And we have those books, believe it or not. So the last item I want to show you guys, and then afterwards, if you want to see some of the stuff, I'm going to have a little table over there, so whatever